So we'll start this lesson by opening up our project files. Choose File, Open, navigate to Lesson 7 of Part 1 of your project files, and choose the addingtext.indd file and click Open. This is a very simple, small document with 4 columns pre-created for us, and the first thing we're going to do is explore the different kinds of frames inside of InDesign. So over here in the toolbar, select the Rectangle Frame tool. Now you'll notice that any tools with a little black arrow in the bottom right-hand corner actually have several other tools hidden underneath it. To access those other tools, just click and hold, and you'll see this little fly out option here. So in case you're seeing the ellipse or the polygon frame tool, just click and hold and make sure you have the rectangle frame tool selected. Now with the rectangle frame tool, we'll click and drag and fill up that first column with a frame. Now you may notice here in the toolbar that there's another very similar looking tool right next to it. Looking at the tooltips, you can see that this is the rectangle frame tool, and the one next to it is the rectangle tool. What's the difference? Well, let's check this out. This time, select the rectangle tool, click and drag, fill up that second column, and what's the difference? Well, practically, there really isn't any difference. Technically, there is a bit of a difference. Let me explain. Let's grab the selection tool here, the black arrow tool. You can click off in the pasteboard so nothing is selected, and we'll click this first frame that we created. Notice that no matter where I click, it's very easy to select that frame. The large X through the frame reminds us that that was created with the frame tool. Now, we have another frame over here, but I'm trying to click it, and it almost seems like there's no object there. The trick is that objects created with the rectangle tool are actually a little bit harder to select. You actually have to click either the outside perimeter, or you have to hover over the middle of it and hope you can find the center, which, as you can see here, is kind of tricky. So these frames are harder to select, and there is one other difference. Let's go up to the Object menu, and about halfway down we have Content. You'll see that frames created with the shape tools default to being unassigned. Now, if we select the frame on the left that was created with a rectangle frame tool and go to the Object menu, we can see that by default, this is a graphic frame. Now, to be clear, as far as InDesign is concerned, it doesn't really matter if this is a graphic frame or a text frame or unassigned, because you can change that attribute at any time. For example, I'll select this frame here, go to Object, Content, and instead of being unassigned, I'll make that a graphic frame. Or I can do that again, and from the Content menu, make it a text frame. Other page layout applications that you might be familiar with actually are kind of picky that a frame is a certain type. In InDesign, it's much more flexible. Now, another way to create text frames, which is what we're going to be using in this lesson, is by actually just choosing the Type tool here in the toolbar, clicking and holding, and then dragging out a frame. We'll do that one more time. And now we have 4 different frames. Now these 3 frames are all text frames. We want to change this first frame here to also be a text frame because we're going to be working with text. So I already showed you how to change the content type in the Object menu. Note that you can also select a frame with the selection tool and right-click or control-click with a one-button mouse on the Macintosh and choose the same commands from the Content menu. The easiest way to do this, just select the Type tool, click inside, and it will instantly convert into a text frame.